You are listening to Wicked Psychotherapists, a podcast where two psychotherapists show you that taking care of and learning about mental health doesn't have to be wicked hard.
Hey guys, this is Tanya.
Hi, it's Erin, and welcome to Wicked Psychotherapists.
Yeah, today we are jumping back on the Adam train, Adam Sandler, and getting to one of his not very well known movies from 2011, although he is with Jennifer Aniston. So it's Just Go With It, which was on Netflix for me. And also, I believe, is available on Prime to rent.
I didn't realize it was on Netflix. I ended up renting it on Prime because I had no idea. So I could have watched it for free.
Well, I saw it there and I started watching when I came back from being in Portugal. We had a VPN set to Portugal, and I think there's other titles available there. So I think it was available there, but I didn't see it here. I don't know if maybe it was only available. So it may not have been available in the US, or unless you have a VPN set to somewhere outside of the US. But it's so I watched half of it there in Portugal, and then I rented it too because I was like, I can't find it here. So unless it said it was leaving soon, I don't know, maybe it left, but it was very soon. Whatever it is, it's a remake of Cactus Flower from 1969, and
I've never seen that.
I did not watch it to compare it, so I don't know if it's the same or Ad just added his own flair because he was a producer, I think. But what did you think of the movie overall?
There was parts I really liked. I liked the kids. I did like Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler. I did not like the cousin at all. I wish he wasn't in the movie. I think it kind of ruined most of it for me. Any scene that he was in, I just thought he was really annoying. It seems like most of the characters, what is his name? Nick Swardson or something like that. He always annoys me. I don't know. I think it's just very, maybe I don't get that juvenile humor. It's just really dumb.
Yeah, it was a little too over the top. And I mean, that is kind of Adam Sandler, but I think we like Adam Sandler's brand of doing that, like his older style. Whereas I wasn't feeling it from the cousin character either. But I did think it was Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston do have some sort of nice chemistry, I think, together.
Yeah.
There is something there. I don't sense it's really
right,
but they have some good kind of comedic playoff with each other. Yeah, and the kids are cute. It was kind of a twisted, strange plot, but I think that's probably from the 60s. They were working with that or just wanted to make it kind of quirky. But yeah, it had its good points, but it was definitely not at our top favorite for Adam movies.
I think the last, I don't even know how long the movie was. I'd say like the last half of it, I liked it. I liked most of the time they were in Hawaii. I liked all of the stuff with Dr. Daniel and Catherine, their communication, their friendship, even when they're working together, like the quirkiness in the office, it just seemed genuine. It's like real conversations. It's not like slapstick. Like you could figure out why they might have a good friendship or a good relationship.
Yeah. And it was funny because at the end when they were, I know we're jumping way ahead here, but I mean, at the end, when, assumingly you've all seen it if you're watching this.
Yeah.
At the end, when they were talking about, I think we're safe there. When they were talking about her friend, Devlin, or whatever, played by Nicole Kidman. But she's like, say what you like about each other. And it seemed almost like they were not only as characters, like kind of being like, oh yeah, I can see this about you. Like, I really appreciate these things. But I think there was a little bit maybe of them as actors kind of being like, I really like that. I wonder if that was sort of improvised. I sort of got that feeling. I don't know. Just in a
it could be because it did seem very genuine. Like, I really like this about you. I don't know if that was the first time they worked together. It might have been because it was definitely years before the murder mystery. But you can tell that they had really good working chemistry back then. It was nice. I liked that part where they were looking at each other and genuinely telling each other how they felt. You could tell it was deeper than just a boss and an employee.
Yeah. They definitely had, the girlfriend Palmer was saying, "Oh, well, you seem to know so much about him." And she was kind of realizing, yeah, I guess I do. I know like that he needs his cotton candy and peanut butter jelly beans separated into Ziploc bags, all these very specific details about him, which I was kind of thinking just in my own, outside of the movie, I was just thinking like, seriously, of course she's going to. She supposedly has been married to him and you've like been on 2 dates with this guy. Of course she
Yeah.
knows a lot more about.
Well, she's worked with him for, I don't know, 20 years or something like that.
It's definitely, they developed a good connection, maybe without realizing it. And I think that's the whole point of the movie. Just go with it. It's just kind of like, hey, this actually is where it ended up leading us and it was right in front of us. I definitely thought there were some themes of not being aware of the people that are around you, not realizing how connected you are to people in general, even at work or in friendships. Maybe not seeing your self-worth and what you could offer in a relationship. I know Jennifer Aniston's character seemed to count herself out of relationships, or she was selling herself short with that kind of the gray soul patch guy or whatever. And like, kind of just, that didn't really seem to date too much. And was like, oh, I have 2 kids, like almost like it wasn't a selling point. And like, she was kind of like, oh, nobody's going to want that kind of thing in her mind, and and Daniel, Adam Sandler, was probably still traumatized by his first wife, just basically openly cheating on him, also making fun of his sister and just kind of mocking him overall. I do think there were definitely 2 people who were very much more similar than they realized, more connected than they realized. And they kind of had to go through all these things to figure it out. I felt like it could have been shorter, a little more direct with some of these things. I don't feel like it had to be as roundabout. I could have done without the scene with the sheep, with the cousin. I just didn't really like that. I thought it was odd.
Well, I think it was a weird way for the cousin and Palmer to bond. Because it was like, okay, they're having this dinner because he's so gross and she's, like they're just trying to figure out, because supposedly they're all going to be family. And then this sheep thing happens and then they come back all drunk and happy and bonded. So I think that's the roundabout way of how can we make this ridiculous thing so that the 2 of them have this connection and not have them having a relationship or anything, but just like this, oh, we had this really wacky shared experience of, he had to have this, give Heimlich maneuver to the sheep and so we're so bonded and we're talking about marriage and I let it slip that, you bought an engagement ring and, or that you're looking at engagement rings. I think that's probably why it was there. It wasn't really needed. Like the whole, again, I'd be really fine without the cousin or Palmer in the movie at all. But
I guess they were kind of just props, essentially, like prop characters to be there for the main characters to get over their obstacles. But I just didn't really enjoy the way the characters were written. It didn't really add much to it. Usually those kinds of characters have to add to it. But then again, I realize this is a remake and it's just a silly film.
I guess he does a couple remakes, because didn't you say that Mr. Deeds was a remake too? So it's interesting.
Yeah, I guess he likes
older movies,
classics. It's strange when I was thinking about the whole plot and the way it was going and the characters, I was like, I could actually see some of these characters in a 60s movie. I could see this kind of being a little older. And I think that's maybe why it sometimes didn't seem to fit. Maybe he was trying to capture the essence of that or something in there. Or maybe it just didn't really work. It felt a little off. I felt bad for the kids because they were essentially being used. And even though they negotiated prices or whatever, they're still kids and they're having to pretend that this person is their dad, who they know pretty well. But the little boy starts to break down and cry like, my dad doesn't spend time with me. And he's like, what was that? You're ruining my chances with this girl. And it's like, this poor kid is trying to say something. So I thought that was a little traumatizing. I realized it was going for that comedic effect, but I personally just don't find things like that funny. I don't know. I'm just kind of like, that didn't really land well. But then he redeems himself. Like, he teaches them how to swim. He does actually seem to really care about them at a certain point when he starts to realize like maybe Palmer is not his someone he loves. Which is not surprising to me because I don't feel like they spent that much time together. I think he just maybe saw it as like, oh, this is a person that's sort of slightly different than a person I would try to trick and just have a one-night stand with.
He had the ring in the pocket when they met. So she saw him as not married and was attracted to him. So he felt like she was completely different, not realizing that it's still someone that he hooked up with, but maybe there's not really a connection. He was able to see that because he saw like, oh, wait a minute, something's different. I'm not wearing my ring. So there must be a true connection. But it probably was not realizing that if I did have the ring, it would have been just like every other person. She's just...
Yeah, that's true. And so maybe that was kind of him feeling like, oh, okay, if that's my only criteria, but he forgot to look at if they actually have a connection. And I don't know. Palmer seemed to be a character that was very annoyingly naive. She just kind of bought everything that was presented to her and, you know, sort of questioned it, but not really. And I don't know. I just didn't really... That just seems so far gone after a while. It's unrealistic. It's weird. But I think that it really dealt with themes of self-image and how we handle past traumas in relationships, how we see ourselves after that, the kids and how they feel with their dad forgetting to pick them up and not spending time with them.
And I think that made Daniel realize, oh, maybe I shouldn't just be posing. Like the time when they're all taking pictures at the golf course. He's like, why can't we just have actual fun instead of taking pictures that we're having fun? And that's when he realized maybe we should do something different. So it's not just fake fun. We're actually having experiences. I think part of him started to realize they're not just props. They are humans and they've had trauma from being abandoned from their father. So I can't keep re-triggering them or re-traumatizing them.
Yeah, for sure. They were telling him so many times, like our dad, he was just so focused on himself, which is a common theme with his characters. They can be kind of selfish, like in Big Daddy, and then they redeem themselves and they have a big heart. He tends to kind of have a lot of characters that he plays that have those common patterns. So he probably identifies with that. Maybe that would be my guess. But I do like how he did have some people that he does cast a lot, like Kevin Nealon,
the guy with
who
too
gotten
much,
a lot of
surgery, couldn't even drink,
and his laugh was so goofy. And then his wife was the first fiance who traumatized him and cheated on him in the opening scene, which I think is funny that he put her there. That I think speaks to their comedy together.
They're good together.
I think it was odd that they all went on a vacation together, even though I know his quote-unquote son, Michael, which is Catherine's son, tricked Palmer into being like, oh, well, he promised he would take me to Hawaii, and then he felt like he had to do it. And then, you know, she felt like, oh, well, I'm going to be part of the family, so yeah, let's talk it over with your wife or your soon-to-be ex-wife, and was just being friendly. And then with the guy she supposedly cheated with, that was a weird thing.
Yeah, I thought it was weird.
Yes, that's all part of that.
I was going to say, it's kind of weird too, because they weren't divorced, and then they're planning to get married, you know, or she thought they were going to get married, like at the very end. It was very dumb. Palmer only wanted
she's like, let's get married
she's
tomorrow.
Making herself feel like you've been on 3 dates, Palmer. You know,
she was kind of painted very naive. I think she was probably only supposed to be in her mid-20s or something. She was supposed to be younger. But yeah, I do think she was kind of like, listening to, she's like, that's my jam.
Bye.
It really is. It's just odd. And how she's like, oh, well, you should be able to tell us anything to the kids. And already kind of playing like a stepmom figure. They're not quite divorced. It was just the whole old like 1960s movies of it all. I think that's really what it was. And they were just like, oh, let's just play it up. That's what I think. I haven't seen the original, but I think that's maybe what it was.
Yeah.
It was not as many people as he normally would have, like recurring characters. It was just Kevin Nealon and his wife. I think those are pretty. And Jennifer
at the very
Aniston,
beginning, at the very beginning, it was like the whole crew at the restaurant or whatever. When he still had the big nose at the bar, he was just sitting there. Then he ended up going with the pretty girl. It was like the whole crew, the bunch of the guys.
Oh, so they were in there. Okay.
Yeah, the guy with the weird eye, you know, a few other people that were in Mr. Deeds, and, you know, so a lot of those people were there. at the very
Okay,
beginning.
so they were just very much, that was a part where they were just very much, that was a part where the movie kind of had stopped for me and I had to keep reloading it. There were
Okay.
certain parts I kind of missed, but I'm glad. So he did include it in the movie.
Yeah.
So his signature elements were there. That's good. I like how he had some of the voices, that strange voice, that Sandler voice,
Right.
and he made some jokes, some funny, sarcastic jokes, and definitely had some of the essence of Adam. I keep thinking of the part after the hula contest and the coconut, and they beat Nicole Kidman and Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
And they, kind of are sort of looking like they're going to like kiss and, all this stuff. And they're kind of going back and forth and they're having just really kind of playful banter, but it's a little awkward. Like they're both kind of shy.
Yeah.
I sensed a little bit of improv there too. I sensed they were just going back and saying silly things. I think that made the other one laugh. And I think that shows their chemistry too.
Yeah.
I thought that was another pretty cool part of that.
Yeah. And I did like how Catherine was able to work through her trauma of Devlin, because that had been something since college, that she hated this woman so much, or, because she was such a snob. But they were able to finally be, like when they're at the bar at the very end, be like, I hate my husband, and they're just talking and then finally saying, I'm divorced, and just be honest. Because it always seemed like there was a competition and they never were truly honest. So that was, just even like talking about Catherine before is like, oh, Devlin, this is my nemesis, and trying to see her and automatically feeling like she had to one up her or be at the same level as her in a sense. But then it was like, oh, wait a minute. We're both going through stuff that we've been hiding. And even how Devlin's like, oh, my husband didn't invent the iPod or whatever, it's like,
he like sued the Dodgers from a fly ball that hit him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, yeah, and he's gay. She just knew that so casually.
Look at him.
He's over there trying to flirt with sailors. And
yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. And the fact that it's Dave Matthews. Like, what a random casting of Nicole Kidman and Dave Matthews from Dave Matthews Band. If anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, Dave Matthews Band is a band. They have a very particular, I don't even know honestly what genre they would be.
It's like jam, like it's like jam, whatever, kind of like how Fish and stuff, just kind of like, all right, just kind of, I never really liked Dave Matthews, but there's one song that I'm like, that's tolerable. But yeah, I've never been a big Dave Matthews fan.
I did like some of their music in high school. I'm not a huge fan. I just thought it was really random. I wonder why I wonder if Adam is friends with him or something. I don't know. Strange.
Maybe.
I just thought it was random. And I really like that part too. I agree with you with where they healed their friendship and were able to sort of take off their masks. Yeah. We knew that Catherine was trying to impress her, even named Poop after Devlin because of just how much she despised her, but also was kind of very insecure by her. And then to see Devlin be like, my husband's gay, we're getting a divorce. Like to see her kind of be like, take off the mask too was really, that was really healing.
Yeah.
That would be nice to have that with some people, to be able to kind of feel like, oh, that would be cool. I don't know if that just happens in the movies, but who knows, right?
Yeah.
But I thought that was
to be able to have that chance of somebody that tortured you or you to have that closure too, because it's not like they're going to become best friends. It's just like, okay, we both said our truth and just kind of, okay, we're okay now.
Yeah. And I sensed when they were hugging and they were kind of like, oh, we should have been doing this from the beginning. I sensed that they actually are kind of friends in real life too. Because they've worked in something, haven't they? Together?
I don't know.
I think they have.
I don't remember.
Nicole Kidman and Jennifer Aniston. I may be mixing up some of their shows because I know Jennifer Aniston was in The Morning Show and Nicole Kidman was in like All the Lies We Tell or something. I think I always mix some of those. I think there was another show that maybe they were in. You guys can let us know. I feel like they've worked together again, but maybe I could definitely imagine that.
I don't know. I recently just watched The Perfect Couple with Nicole Kidman. That was pretty good. That was on Netflix.
Yeah. Oh, that was actually pretty good.
That was good.
That was very psychologically.
That could be something we talk about sometime.
Yeah, that might be something to add to the list for sure. That really stayed with me. I was like, oof.
I will add it right now. Well,
okay. All right, yeah, let's do it.
But I can't think of anything that they have been in together, though. Jennifer Aniston and Nicole Kidman.
I could have imagined. It could have been like the preview for one of their shows was next to another one of their shows. I often do that. We'll mix it up. That's the way my brain works. It was a very kind of convoluted plot, but it definitely had its moments of charm with Jennifer Aniston, Adam Sandler, and the kids. The kids were cute.
Definitely.
Yeah. I liked the daughter, Maggie, how she was like into acting and she like overacted and she just seemed so confident and sure of herself.
Good day, governor. Yeah.
She was really into her British accent. She was a cutie. And Michael was kind of serious, but also his own quirky character too. I like that.
I was thinking like a little solemn too, kind of like. You know.
That's a good way to describe him. He kind of had a wise beyond his years kind of thing, but then he was very much a little kid. It was an interesting combo.
Yeah. It's like, yes, well, I really want to swim with the dolphins. And I like when they were like, oh, well, you don't know how to swim. Why would you pick swim with the dolphins? And he's like, well, I didn't really think that all the way through.
Yeah, like that's his little kid part. That was cute, yeah. It was a cute movie. It was probably not our favorite, but again, I think the Jennifer Aniston and the Adam Sandler connection kept me going in it, and the kid for that.
Same here. I really liked almost every scene that the two of them were together, and I loved the kids. The little girl was really funny too.
Yeah, I looked her up because I was like, oh, I wonder what she's doing now. And she's done a few things since, but she is like gorgeous. Like just, I mean, not like she you know, you could see how she is, but like, I think she's been in some other things. I don't know if she's like kind of concentrating on other things or I missed that she's been in anything recently, but maybe she's kind of focusing on some other things, but she has gone on to do some other things. The little boy, I couldn't get much information on. I love the choices he makes in actors. I think he's very intentional about it. And by that, I mean Adam, because I think he was a director or producer or something. Honestly, not sure I know the difference. He was something important in the movie when it was just a nice film to watch. I think we probably wouldn't have watched otherwise or heard of.
I feel like I have seen it before. I think I've seen it before. I just don't remember. You know, like when we were watching Murder Mystery, I was like, I know I've seen this, but I didn't remember how it ended. I do remember the Hawaii theme. I just don't remember everything else. I could have blocked it out because I hated the cousin so much.
Maybe, yeah. I really think that could have gone in a different direction, his character. Like maybe they needed a distraction, but it just could have gone a different way. I think Palmer was okay. I think she was a little naive, but maybe that just kind of worked. But his character especially was irksome.
I think it was like, all right, this is beyond annoying.
It was too over the top.
It's like, all right, we understand what you're trying to do, but maybe not so much.
Yeah, I just did not like the sheep scene at all. It made me kind of sick. I understand they needed it, but I really just was like, ugh, I don't want to see this. Even though I know it was a fake sheep, obviously, but no thank you. I don't find animals, even if it's obviously not real, I don't find that funny. I just don't like that. Anything else that we can think of that we didn't talk about?
I think a lot of the main things were being a single mother, you know, like how you navigate that, like your relationship with your coworkers, you know, your identities, you know, like, cause that's like everyone's identity from like, you know, Daniel and, you know, being like, you know, first he's rejected from his wife. He hears like the horrible things that she's saying. And then his identity, because he's mourning, not getting married. And then he's like, oh, wait a minute, this is going to work for me. His identity now is this playboy, single person to figuring out maybe that's not who I want to be. And Catherine, her identity as like this assistant and single mother, best friend probably to him. And they're all just trying to figure out who they are.
Yeah. For sure. I think that's a good points to look at. And I mean, it really, I think, was just a very interesting way to put it all together. Adam was there, Jennifer Aniston was there, the kids were there. That's a bonus. If you get a chance. I don't think it's on Netflix anymore, so you might have to rent it on Prime, or maybe you have another streaming service that has it, but it's worth it. I think it was only like $3 to rent.
It was very cheap.
Yeah, not too bad. Want to ask a challenge question.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Michael, the little boy, his dream was to swim with the dolphins. I know he didn't really plan out because he couldn't really swim, but he still had the dream and he was able to do it.
And he got to do it.
He was
successful. He got to do it.
Yeah. He was like standing up with them and everything. That was really cool. What would, if you could choose just one thing that would be on your bucket list, what would be one thing you would want to do?
Well, I think I'd really like to see puffins in like the wild, like, you know, since we're going like the animal theme, like since he did dolphins, I think the first thing that came to me would be like, I'd like to, I've never really seen puffins. I think are just like the cutest birds. And either that or I don't know. I've always wanted to go to like a elephant sanctuary or something like that. I think that would be kind of cool. There's one in Tennessee that's supposed to be humongous, but you have to be a volunteer and stuff. So it's a pain in the neck to try to do it. But I think because I'm just thinking animals now because of the dolphin thing.
I don't think that's stupid at all. I think that's really cool. That's a really cool thing. I wouldn't have even thought of that, but that's a really cool thing that probably not a lot of people get to see. Yeah. I actually like that you did that animal theme. I'm trying to think of something animal themed because I don't have an answer. I asked the question and I didn't have an answer. I really don't know right now. I am just coming off of a 3-week trip where I was traveling on a motorcycle throughout Europe and I just came back yesterday. So I am not with it too much right now. I am my brain is not really working too well. I'm also still, I think, jet lagged, but
what would be an animal experience you'd want?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, that's a really good way to put that. And so I'm really trying to think of something because I don't know what I would do. Oh, man. The puffins is really cute.
You can come with me.
I don't know if there's...
We can do puffins.
I would like to see the puffins and the elephant sanctuary. I think that's a really good idea. Man, you had some good ones. I'm trying to think of some animals. I don't know. Maybe go see... I'm thinking of some, like, I'm like, ooh, sharks, tigers, lions, and I'm like, I'm scared to death of all of those.
Whenever you see the people in the shark cage, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did that. So crazy.
I would not do it. I would not do that. Yeah. Same with like a crocodile, like those crocodile cages that they have sometimes. No way.
That would be scary. Or like how people go in boats where hippos are. No, thank you.
No, I'm scared to death of those. I read some scary story about that and I was like, they're out. There's really, I mean, I guess I've kind of always, I don't know, like pandas and koala bears, I guess would be pretty nice to see, even though I know really that pandas are not the nicest, but I know that's not like a very original answer, but it's, I think that would be cute, to kind of be able to see them.
Yeah. My dad went to a koala sanctuary I think it was in New Zealand when he was stationed in Tonga for the Peace Corps. He has the cutest picture of him holding a koala. He said they were so soft, but it just seems like it'd be really neat.
That is cute. Yeah, my nieces both studied abroad in Australia and they were able to visit some koala bears. That's pretty cool. And my sister did too when she visited. So I just think that would be cool. My mom, when I was younger, this is really odd, but she used to call me a koala bear. So maybe that's why I was thinking of it.
Oh, that's neat.
Maybe I gave good hugs and I was soft. I don't know. Yeah. So that is my challenge question that I did not think out very well, but Erin had some great answers. Next time I will think it out before. I kind of just think of them on the fly. I really should have thought of that. But
that's okay. I mean, I think it worked out.
The puffins. Yeah.
I always Puffins have always been my favorite. I don't know. They're so cute.
They really are. Yeah, they are. They're very different too, right? Like in terms of penguins, like are they different behaviorally?
Well, and they could be on rocks. I mean, they like cold, like penguins and stuff. They just seem really cute.
Cool. I love that. I really like that. I need to learn some more about some animals and be like, oh, I want to go see them because I'm just, I'm behind the times in that. But yeah, so that is the story of us. I also did want to close out this episode, and I know Erin, you had brought it before. If you don't want to say this, we can just, but you had talked about how you were going to have to be radioactive.
Oh yeah, I never really gave any explanation, did I? Going to be radioactive. I ended up getting diagnosed with thyroid cancer a few months ago, back in April or something. Then I had a thyroidectomy in June. Part of the treatment is I had to take radioactive iodine, a radiation pill that they actually had to give it to me in a lead container. The physicist and the doctor gave it to me, and it was interesting. After I swallowed the pill, they put a Geiger counter on my neck and then on my stomach. So like as soon as I swallowed it, I was already radioactive. After that, I was contained in my room like not able to see the kids or my husband or the animals for 4 days straight. So it was like having to feed me in a quick way. After that, I was able to be out of my room for 6 feet apart, but at first just like an hour at a time and then longer. It was 7 days of strange aloneness. I did a lot of watching TV, reading, different art. So it was definitely different. It was a different experience than when I had chemo, because chemo I could have everyone can come and hang out with me and see me after while I was recovering. But I was glad too, because I was really worried that I was going to have really strange side effects. Thankfully, just the first day I woke up with a super huge neck. And I guess that's because it attaches to your thyroid. After that, I massaged it and put ice packs, and it was fine later that day or the next day. I was super anxious about it. I was like having more anxiety than I think I've ever had leading up to it.
It's a scary thing.
Because I was like, how big is the pill going to be? What's going to happen? Is all my hair going to fall out? So like I was really worried about like, how is it going to be like not seeing everybody? But we managed with FaceTime. The kids would come to my window in the bedroom and I'd open the window and they'd stand 6 feet apart, because the doctor said it's kind of like a x-ray. So I'm still omitting 6 feet apart from wherever I was. We still managed. It was different. It definitely teaches you, okay, I can be alone this time. I couldn't even leave my room for the first 4 days. So at least after that, I can go outside. Then I'm allowed to pet the animals after day 4, but I just couldn't let them kiss me or lick me for a few days, because I guess animals are a little bit different, they said, so they can be pet. But yeah, so it was just glad that part's over.
That was very, very difficult for you.
And also I was on this crazy diet beforehand for like 2 weeks. I couldn't have iodine, so we had to make our own bread. Todd had to make all the food. It was a lot of work. It was different.
Sounds like
you don't realize how much iodine is in everything. Not just salt, because you can have non-iodine salt, but you can't have iodine so that the radioactive iodine attaches to the thyroid. I never knew anything about my thyroid before all this started.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people know that. I don't think, people realize that is a thing, that there can be a radioactive pill to detect for that. So you have gone radioactive. You can officially say that when came out on the other side. We are wishing that is
and I think obviously. It is. From what I looked at, it looked like everything was fine. I just don't know officially, but I don't know. From what I read, it looked positive. It looks like it's all cancer free. So that makes me happy.
We hope that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking for everyone because obviously they think that too. But yeah, so glad to hear that. Just wanted to kind of, give you a chance, because that's been, a lot of stuff going on. So, if that's something, that is, okay, you can always update us if you would like to, or not, whatever's.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, great. We're so glad that you are doing okay and past that. And yeah, we are going to have some Halloween October themed things coming up. I think Hubie Halloween is in a couple weeks, right?
Yep. And it could be you're gonna be like, oh my god, that's so dumb. And then Little Nicky, and then then we're gonna do Outsiders, Grown Ups 2, Billy Madison, and I just penciled in Perfect Couple, so we'll have to do that too.
Yes, I will add that one in, but that's great. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. If you have anything that you want us to know or add in about any future show ideas, anything we talked about, well wishes, of course, we always love that. Just let us know. Any questions, anything. We love to hear from you. We are on all major types of social media, the Wicked Psychotherapists, and YouTube as well, if you want to see
what we look like. Well, it looks very tropical. It looks perfect for this movie. It looks like Hawaii.
Oh, it does. Oh my gosh, I didn't see. I just, it cures, yesterday's lazy, today's crazy. I really have been meaning to shift it over to fall, but maybe I'll try and do that later today. It does fit. That's true. So let's do our outro. Okay. Don't forget, stay wicked.
And keep your mind well. All right, everyone. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thanks so much for listening today to the Wicked Psychotherapists podcast. Be sure to like and follow us on Apple, Spotify, and Amazon, or wherever else you listen to your podcasts.